What's going on, YouTube? Back at it like a crazy. It's your boy Reese, aka Conundrum TV, and we back at it with another Starting Five podcast pick and roll episode. Same starting five, same game with me. We got Dezo in the building. We got Mike, aka Boogie. We got Vono, and we got Jay. It's not a lot of news going on in the NBA right now, so it's gonna be a shorter episode. But we're gonna get right into it. We ain't gonna waste our time. Starting off with Von and Jay label. The LA Lakers have been on fire. They have been the hottest team in the West, besides the OKC potentially with the 9-1 record. I want to get into it with y'all. What do y'all think has been different with the Lakers? Like, is this smoke and mirrors? Is this like fluff on top of a mediocre season, or is this actually real? And are they catching a stride going into the playoffs?
Yeah, Reese. Initially, I thought it was fluff until they played the Rockets and the Nuggets. I feel like those are the two best teams that they've played during this stretch, and those are teams that are also like searching to find consistency, like that middle of the pack playoff team in the West. All it's like a big group of them outside of OKC and the Spurs that all just play inconsistently. So for the Lakers to separate themselves is big. I really think it's just a matter of health. Like AR came back, he's got a good stretch of games under his belt now. Braun has been
Yep.
playing consistently. Luka, like they all have been in the lineup, and so we're seeing them play well because they just now have consistency. So I'm glad that they hooping. I hope they continue it. But yeah, they definitely playing well.
Yeah, Vaughn, what you
Yeah,
think?
we kind of spoke on like a couple weeks ago how Lakers couldn't close out these big games, and Jay just brought up the Nuggets and the Rockets, but they also beat the Timberwolves and the Knicks as well. You feel me? And those are contending teams in East and West. So just being able to close out these games and everybody buying into their role, as we all see DeAndre Ayton coming out with more comments. He sees Luka and Bron locked in, and he's tired of being an odd man out, and finally buying in. I figured that should have been a thought process since the start of the season, but gladly he's picking it up in March. It's time to lock in for this playoff. So I did initially think it was fluff, just because the Lakers can get your hopes up, but tear right back down in a heartbeat. At the same time, I do think we ready. I think we making a push for a contending team.
Oh yeah. Just to revisit the DeAndre Ayton. DeAndre Ayton did say that he took a look in the mirror and had to realize on this team he doesn't have to be that guy. So that just speaks to the players on the Lakers buying into a role. Des, what you think about the Lakers? Do you think this 9-1 is something real?
It's been impressive. I feel like no matter who you play, winning 9 out of your last 10 games is pretty good. And I do want to play devil's advocate a little bit. I'm a little bit of a Lakers hater. Um, it is a little context in some of these games that they have played. Of course, Sengun being out versus the Rockets, and then Jamal Murray and Ant having like legit stinkers versus them, and they barely squeeze by some of these games. That's a little bit alarming because, like, if you think about it in a playoff series, you playing these teams 7 games straight. It's like you're not going to be able to contain some of these players like that for 7 games. So, I did like for them to like take a little bit more advantage of like some of those, games where I feel like they supposed to just kind of just win like dominantly almost. But overall, I'm liking what I'm seeing from them. LeBron's taking a little bit less of an offensive role and kind of just being that fill-in guy that we kind of want him to be because we know Bron can do pretty much everything on the court. So I feel like if you let Luka and AR kind of take lead offensively, that's when the Lakers are at their best. And then Marcus Smart, man, he's just been such a good piece for them all year. I'm kind of glad Luka decided that he wanted Marcus on the team, and it's actually paying off. Like Marcus do all the dirty work. He knocked down big shots for them. So I think he really like he kind of salty about that ring that the Celtics went and got without him, and you can tell in his play. You know what I'm saying? Like he diving on for loose balls, and they up 10 points with a minute left in the game. You know what I'm saying? Like he do that type of stuff. So I've been liking what I'm saying for them, but hopefully they can just get away with some of these wins a little more cleaner. That's what I would like to see for them. So
I will say about the context, just to add a little more context. Some of these games in they last 10, they didn't have Bron for majority of these games. Like he sat out a lot of these games, and they had to run with just a improvised squad each game. But so the Lakers has been putting it all together. Mike, what do you got to say about the Lakers, man?
I feel like this is not like I feel like it's something to be worried about. Western on the Western Conference side, figuring it out is that's the best thing that ever happened to the Lakers. Wise Luca knowing his role, DeAndre Ayton becoming to understanding. I'll say he kind of knew his role, but he just never he wanted to do more. I'll say. But AR coming back, well, he been back for now. But when I agree with what Dad said, when them two at it, is there's nothing you can really do about it. And I feel like even with like Brian, yes, he's not playing every game, but I still feel like when he do play, he's not losing. You feel me? He not losing no touch of it. He still
Yeah.
got it. He still go out there and still not only do his numbers, he still play the game how the game's supposed to be. So
Mm,
Yeah.
that's what I really like about Bron and Marcus Smart, man. Like I agree with Dezo all the way. Like he really feels some type of way about that Celtics raid, bro. Like y'all traded me, like he was there from the jump, so I know that kind of that hurted him. Like y'all won without, So yeah, I just feel like I feel like everything comes to a full circle for the. That's what it's looking like for the Lakers.
mhm.
Hey, speaking of Marcus Smart, how he was getting on that ground. I know y'all saw Brian get on that ground too.
Oh my
Yeah,
God,
Bron too.
bro. Oh my
Come on,
God,
G,
Yeah.
bro.
man.
And I feel
He
like
played.
Luka has been better defensively during this stretch as well too. You know what I'm saying? All it takes is a little effort.
My
We ain't
That's all
asking
it
you to
takes.
go lock up the best player,
hey,
but just try. You know what I'm
That's
I'm
all
saying?
it
the
Just
takes.
try.
I'm the biggest LeBron fan possible, but niggas over gassing that die for the loose ball about Bron like he not just a regular NBA player be killing me.
But he was
Like
the only one on the ground though. He was the only
Hold
one on the
up.
ground, Reese.
man, bro, I
When
ain't
the
trying to
last
hear
time you
that.
seen somebody lay out like that?
Come on,
Yeah.
Come
Reese.
on, bro. We
Nigga,
ain't doing
that
that.
happened
We
I've
ain't
never
every
seen it
fucking
again.
game.
It don't.
Stop. We not finna go. I'm not finna
And
overglaze Bron, but I will say,
another theory I
go ahead.
got too. I feel like it's crazy that Aiden came out after the Rockets game and said that
After Clint.
uh yeah, like I feel like Clint probably pulled him to the side, like what I'm saying, like you trying to diss me on the low, like when
Fool.
really I don't
Yeah.
know,
Bro,
like
you had the
you
same
got
conversation
three
earlier.
great playmakers on your team, so it's like it's no way you shouldn't just accept that role. So I feel like that's what kind of happened because he came out after the Rockets game and said that.
Mhm.
So
Um,
Nah, it is.
just to give Bron a little more of a shout out. LeBron does lead the league in points per game on the fast break. So as a 41-year-old man, he is pushing the pace for them, and that's part of some of the things that the Lakers need. They have to have that fast pace because they playing a lot of young teams in the West right now, and those teams are getting out, forcing turnovers and things of that nature. Is something that the Lakers have been doing in this stretch of 10 games. If they can continue to do that, then I do think they will be a threat to some of these contenders that might have a little playoff round. They might sneak a playoff round at them, but they are the third seed right now, which is impressive. I didn't see them being the third seed. I'm gonna be honest, just based on how the beginning of the season went when AR went down. I was like, oh, this team might be struggling. But yeah, it's great that they catching a stride in March, going into the playoffs. Another team that has been catching stride, though, on the flip side of things on the East Coast, we have the Atlanta Hawks, who have the best record in the last 10 out of any team in the NBA right now. They are on a 10-win streak, and they are led by the head of the snake, Jalen Johnson. That's Jay's label. I don't mean to start with you again first, Jay, but you feel me? Your labels they've been hooping in this last 2 months. So yeah, Jalen Johnson has been averaging basically a triple double. Like, what do you have to
The,
say about the Hawks?
the future bright for my label, man. We got some retooling in the off season that we definitely will be looking into, but I got a couple staples right now. And Jalen Johnson, I mean, he really is Mr. Triple Double. Like I think the sky's the limit for this guy.
That's real
And
talk.
they've only beaten poor teams, right? But when we look at the Hawks, everybody would say they're a poor team. You know what I mean? So taking care of business is important for these the teams that at the bottom of the league struggling to find like an identity. So um, I'm happy for him. I'm happy for Nikhil because he's been hooping as well. Um, Turning into a player that I don't know if y'all have a different opinion on it, but I definitely didn't see him becoming.
No.
So
I don't
shout
know.
out to the Hawks. I know we haven't touched much on them this season. Jalen Johnson's been getting spotlighted, but the Hawks as a whole haven't because they just haven't been good. So this is our first time getting to speak on them. Shout out to them.
Yeah, I'm very, very much so impressed, even though that they're playing, like you said, not the best competition. They played a lot of teams that are purposely tanking within the last 10, but those are the games that you got to focus the most on. Mike, what you think about the Atlanta Hawks? How do you feel about them in their last 10?
I'm not gonna say I knew Nikhil was this type of guy at all, but I feel like he had flashes on the Pelicans. here and there, a couple of double type games, but never nothing too major. But I'm very shocked about them. They shocking me. I'm not gonna lie. Like I didn't see this coming at all. Um, really, Jalen Johnson was under my radar. I'd say until like I was thinking when he first got to the league, I was thinking because everybody know he took John Collins' spot. So that's the type of role, and he filled it in so perfectly. So I didn't know he had more to bring to the table,
Mhm.
and he has way. Yeah, he looked very just like you just said, damn near averaging a triple double right now. So he's shocking me. It's just the Trey, the Trey Young trade probably turned them up a little bit. Like this team really believe in me. So
Mhm.
you know that plays a big part. Shout out the Hawks though, bro.
Yeah. In the last 10 games, Jalen Johnson has been averaging 26 points, 10 rebounds, 10 assists. So he's literally
Triple double.
the engine for this team. Dez, are you impressed with Jalen Johnson and the Hawks?
Yeah. What they've been doing definitely has been impressive, especially because it's like the end of the year and they're trying to make a push for seeding in the East. I feel like they can actually like try to make a push to potentially get out of the play-in if they keep playing well and some of those higher teams start to play poor. Um, I think something that Atlanta has done as of recent during the streak is they put CJ McCollum in the starting lineup. Not saying CJ McCollum is, some crazy guy, but we all know what CJ can bring to the table. He's a vet. He's respected on the court. So it's like when he's bringing that, you know, veteran presence and just that ability to put the ball in the bucket next to Nikhil and, Jalen Johnson is just like it kind of bring a different aspect to their team. So it's kind of been good to see what they've been doing. Hopefully they can keep it up. And I'm ready to see him in like a playoff setting because like now like Mike said they kind of gave him the keys to the team. So it's like let's see what he do in his first playoffs or play in. You know what I'm saying when it's just his team and see what he can do when the lights is bright. So.
Yeah. Hey, Vaughn, are you falling in love with this Hawks team as well? Because with them getting rid of Trey Young, we didn't know what the future was gonna hold. And I also want to talk to you about Jonathan Kuminga. We gonna have to hash about that because you told me you wasn't gonna be on shit. But go ahead.
I'm glad you brought that up because he ain't been on shit outside of the first couple games he played. You feel me? He's
He got
not
hurt.
played. He got hurt, so it's like I ain't gonna say falling in love because we all haters on here. I don't give no fuck about the Hawks and the Jalen Johnsons, but I do love how he hooping. You feel me? I'm glad that they steamrolling at the end of the season to make a playoff push and kind of stirring up the East because we all look out west and it's 3 through 7, 3 through 8, it'd be stirred up. And then we look out east and you kind of solidified like the rest of the year. But now we see 6th, 7th, 8th, possibly ninth, depending on how the 76ers look, can easily like flip. So I'm glad that they kind of stirring the East up. But speaking of Jalen Johnson, and I'm speaking in hyperbole when I say this, but his numbers be Jokic-esque sometimes, you feel me? Well, he'll give you 25, 12, and 14 or something, you feel me? So I love to see that out of a young guy. And like, I I can't give him too much praise. You feel me? Like it ain't too much more I can say about him that we ain't already said. You feel me? So shout out to them. Like, and I give it they only beating garbage teams, but like we spoke about earlier before the pod, they can only play who in front of them. You feel me? And winning those games is a hard feat, especially when it being 10 in a row.
Hmm. And their most impressive win is most recently was the game that they played against the Magic on Monday. And Paulo is a part of my label. He is one of my heads of my like one of my top dogs, one of my top young dogs. And they had a head-to-head matchup, and Jalen Johnson came out victorious in that one. So they haven't played all trash, but just seeing that matchup against the Orlando Magic, I wouldn't be comfortable if I'm the Magic if I have to see them. I wouldn't feel comfortable playing against a Jalen Johnson who just gave us 24, 14, and 15. So like
Yeah,
that's scary. That's a scary sight. And we do, like we said, we did shout out Nikhil going from 9 points per game last year on the Timberwolves to averaging 20 points per game at a high efficiency and being one of the best shooters actually not only on the team but in the whole entire league. He's literally a sniper. So shout out to the Hawks for real. We just want to put the spotlight on that team for putting up 10 in a row. I know most of the media don't really cover these type of teams just because they are on the bottom side of things, but they only one game behind the fifth seed, so they could make it out the play-in. We saying they might be a playing team, but they might be a fifth seed, a legitimate fifth seed in this East. So
Yeah.
but going into the next little bit of controversy, we did talk about the Lakers versus the Rockets, but there was some post game interviews going on with Kevin Durant and the Rockets. He said that he calls for taking a back seat due to double teaming going on during the season. And I want to get into it with you, Des, because we was talking about it during the before the pod had started, and you was just going in about if KD has to do this, then that team might dwindle down in the playoffs. It might not be a contender like we thought they would be before the season.
Yeah. To speak on that, the Rockets haven't looked as good as we thought they were gonna be. You know, I feel like when KD is taken out of games, we can see the flaws in the Rockets, and I think of course, them losing Fred before the season even started, and then them not going out in free agency and getting another point guard or shot creator is kind of showing later down, in the stretch of the season. Teams as of recent, they just throw doubles at KD and then tell the other guys to make decisions or go score, and we see the lack of shot creation out of most of those guys. I know Sengun is a really good player, and he can kind of create his own buckets. But when I think he's did miss some games, and like we really get to see the flaws of the Rockets. And then I know the comments that KD made about how he think he should just kind of like take a seat back and back seat. My apologies, and kind of let some of the other guys rock out. It's like who you gonna let go to work? You know what I'm saying? Like teams not scared to let Jabari go, like try to go get his own, or let Amin Thompson go. You know what I'm saying? Like they not scared of that. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like KD trying to take a back seat is probably gonna make them even worse than what they really are. Like they still sitting at the fourth seed right now, but I can easily see them probably like dropping to the sixth seed. Cause I don't know. Timberwolves, I think Ant is gonna miss some time, so I take that back. They might drop to like the fifth seed, sixth at the lowest, but I don't know. The Rockets definitely in a bad spot right now.
Yeah. Kevin Durant basically like he just wanted to take responsibility of losing that Lakers game because, with this role he has on this team, he has to be pretty much everything on offense when Sengun sits out. So if we don't see a healthy Sengun, it's kind of scary because he had 7 turnovers off basically playing through a double team. He didn't know what he was doing during the double team. I'm gonna let y'all take the floor on this one. Like, what do y'all think the Rockets need to do to be able to make this team feel more comfortable on offense? This is something we've been trying to figure out all season long, and with KD saying this that he think he want to take a seat back, it confuses things even more because with Sengun sitting out, we need you to play through the doubles, KD. We can't have you not play through the doubles. You don't get double team because you just that great. You're that guy. So what do y'all think though?
I think it's
Uh,
the lack of progression that we getting out of Twin. You feel me? Like KD had to do too much when Sengun sit out because Twin isn't where we expected him to be. You feel me? And looking around the rest of the roster, they kind of got the same guy and just a different last name. You feel me? You got Dorian Finney-Smith, you got Jabari, you got Tari Eason. All these guys are just 3 and D and are meant for a solid playmaker who just sets them up for threes. You feel me? Like we expect a little more out of Jabari, but the rest of the roster kind of just 3 and D and fill in guys. So with Twin not stepping up, you need KD to be Superman when Sengun not there. You feel me? So I don't know if there's anything they can do. Hopefully, just be healthy and slide their feet. But I don't know. I don't get no fuck about them niggas.
Yeah, I think focusing on like Amon Thompson too. I think the Rockets' big issue is like one, their pickups haven't fallen through. So DFS Dorian Finney-Smith has been garbage, and then Steven Adams out for the season. Clint is Clint, so their pickups haven't really been come through for him this season. And then we see the young players. Vaughn was talking about Amon Thompson, Shengun, like they haven't developed in the way that the Rockets expected them to. So I think Amon Thompson taking like a three-point leap from last year when he should be at a dub easily. Like Alperen Sengun has been the same player for 3 years, so that the only hope that they have from my perspective is just playing Reed a lot and hoping that Reed blossoms into this elite scorer, which he's already been better this season. He's gotten a lot better as the season progressed, but like Reed stepping up and Ime just trusting him to stay on the court and leaving him out there, that's the only hope they really have offensively to take a jump because they just don't really have a path to, fixing those issues.
Yeah.
And just looking
Yeah,
at
I
they
was gonna say,
go ahead, my bad, Mike.
yeah, I was gonna say like one thing I noticed the Rockets do it's a lot of different like lineups. Like sometimes they do Reed at the one, sometimes they do a man at the one. They just keep on switching it around.
Mhm.
So that's one thing I noticed. So it's like I don't know, kind of what Jay said. Do they have any faith in Reed? Do they want to let him rock out? Or so I see that, and it's limited shooting on the court now. Like everybody you named, Vaughn, like those 3 and D players, none of them are consistent enough to stay on the
Facts.
court. Like that's why we got multiple of them. You know, ain't no telling which one gonna
Facts.
get hot and who can get hot.
None of
So
them right now, Mike.
yeah, facts, not at all. So it's like that plays a big part. So it's like just like what Dad said earlier, the game plan is to double team KD, and we gonna well whoever besides Sengun, we good. Like basically, like
Hmm.
Uh,
so it's not like I kind of gave up on this team. Like this is one of those teams I kind of like. KD he don't want them shoes no more. He don't want to fill it in. He don't want to be that secondary or that primarily score no more. Period. He just want to be able to get buckets whenever he get buckets, and
Hmm.
that's not like. I feel like that's not gonna work in this type of league. You gotta have that juggernaut, that dog in you. That yeah.
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 I,
The-
I think that their game plan was to have Sengun be that guy, and we starting to realize he's probably not on that trajectory to be that number one option for a championship team. At least not at a championship level. I feel like them being the fourth seed speaks to the value of how good Sengun and KD really are at this point of their careers. Now, I'm not saying Sengun can develop in that in the future, but at the very moment of his career and KD at his moment of his career, it's just not. It's not looking like either one of them have that alpha dog ability to be able to play through things like double teams and that nature. If you look
Yeah.
at they last like 10 games or so, or even like they last like 15, they didn't win a single game against any contenders. Every win that they've gotten has been against a team that is either 500 or lower. Every time they play against any contender at all, they have been losing. Besides, they one game they beat the OKC, but we sat J Dub, we sat Chet, and we sat Shea. So, like, and they barely won by like 5. It's very confusing to me why they got this much talent and can't put it together. Other than just them needing a playmaker.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Reese. I think it is big that Fred VanVleet's out this season. I will say that. Like if they had a real true point guard to start the season of that caliber, they'd be a completely different team. But right now it's looking grim. So
Yeah. Speaking of Grim, them motherfuckers is definitely in the grave right now as far as the championship contender to me. You might as well take them and go ahead, just take them out the championship contender. We
Yeah,
not considering them
for
contender. I
real,
don't care
for
what
real
their
though.
records say. I'm not considering them a contender at all. But going into
They
another
never
contender,
figured it out.
yeah, they never figured it out, and I don't think they will. At
It's
least
really
not this
just that.
season.
It's just literally just that. Like you know how we just said the Lakers turned it around. They
Hmm.
just never turned it around. Respectfully.
They haven't. Another team that I'm worried about that's a contender. That we had high praise for, and we always said that we were had high praise for. Like I said, the Nuggets. The Nuggets have been inconsistent in their performance recently, and it's raising concerns heading into the playoffs because the last thing you need is inconsistency in the towards the end of the March. If they could turn around in this last like what they got like I believe 12, 13 games left or something around there. If they turn
yeah,
around and show flashes of that championship roster that we once knew and loved, maybe they can do something. But as of right now, I'm nervous about the Nuggets. Vaughn, I want to kind of get into it with you. What do you think about the Nuggets? Do you think is it something to be said about them struggling against some contenders, or do you think it's nothing to worry about and you think they'll figure it out when the playoff comes?
I think with the Nuggets track record, I gotta give them the grace that they'll figure it out when it comes playoff time, especially with the caliber of player they have in Jokic. You feel me? And although they haven't been the best and like what we expect the Nuggets to be, they still are kind of 500 in these games. Like although they lost
Yeah.
to the Thunder, they end up beating the Spurs and they beat the Rockets. You feel me? So like when you have Jokic on your team, you can't never really count them out. We expected them like I don't know if y'all saw the power rankings video, but we all expected them to be a top 3 seed. Would it end like that? Probably not. But at the same time, even if the Nuggets are fifth, sixth, at the end of the day, this is a problem you got to worry about. You feel me? Like
Mhm.
you're not just about to roll over. So I'm not gonna put too much stock into them having a poor stretch right now. just because when you have Jokic on your team, when you have a guy like Shea, when you have a guy like Wemby or Giannis, all these top end guys, you never can really count them out.
Yeah. And we also seeing Jokic kind of catching his stride back from his like Jokic put up generational numbers no matter what. Let me get that straight before I even say this. He gonna put up generational numbers versus anybody else's numbers. His shit gonna always look elite. But the version of Jokic we know we can get is just now catching his stride now, as of recent.
Yeah.
So um
So
Jay, what you think about the Nuggets, man? Oh, what you was about to say, Mike? My bad.
I just don't think it's nothing to worry about, honestly. Like this is a three-time MVP we talking about, bro.
Yeah.
Like they gonna get it together. Everybody, I'm not saying like yeah, you can worry a little bit, but really can you? Like I feel like it's just the health. Like if I feel like if everybody healthy, the Nuggets still gonna be the same.
Mm-hmm.
I don't see like we already said on the X Factor video. I feel like literally like Cameron is the only person I'm really worried about like on this team when they come up for the Nuggets. Everybody else, I really feel like understand their role. But then even if Cameron, I feel like you can do some adjustments. You feel me? You could put Peyton Watson at the way he been playing. You feel me? You put him at his spot, and not saying
What
it'll
T
be the same thing, but
what
they can
THJ,
still.
Mike? You feel me?
Yeah,
If I'm
boy,
not falling, not
Tim.
falling, THJ can come in and get you some moments like we saw last year with the Pistons. You feel me?
I remember
See,
about two
so
years ago, y'all was on my head for defending THJ, man. That's all I'm gonna say,
yeah,
man.
You
yeah, I
probably called
remember
him
that
All Star or
too.
something, knowing you.
No, I didn't. Listen, no, I was just saying though exactly what he doing now. Like he's a solid shooter, man. I ain't gonna lie to you. He's a solid
Boy,
player, bro. For real. He
hit
You
people.
know,
proved
He
that.
didn't
last
say. He didn't say that.
years ago though, Reese, he only shot against the Lakers for real, for real. Like you talking about the Magic, I mean the Mavericks years, he was only shooting against the Lakers, and
That's
that's
not
why it made it
true,
so
man.
dangerous.
He always had this in his bag. He's always been this solid 3 and D type of player, bro. And that's a spotlight for them. Get into it about the Cameron Johnson, like you were saying, though, Mike. I ain't gonna lie, Cameron Johnson in this last month been shooting that motherfucking net off the
Hey,
rim, bro. He been shooting the
No,
net off the
hey,
rim.
we
But
need, we need him to bring that into the Nugget. I mean, we
yeah,
need them to bring that to the playoffs.
yeah, if we can see him do that in the playoffs, this team is still scary regardless. Like
Yeah.
when you know what I mean. Um, Des, do you? I want to ask you a specific question though. Des, like, what do you think they should do about this Aaron Gordon situation? Where like it seems like some nights he's engaged and some nights he's not. Like we seen in the game where they blew out the Rockets, he only had 3 field goal attempts and ended with 0. But then he go against the Thunder and he have a generational first half, but he had to sit because of minutes restriction, and then came back and just didn't look the same. Do they force feed him to still try to get him up to shape, or do they just let it happen naturally and like kind of have him take a seat back and maybe focus on some of the other guys?
I think they should just let it happen naturally. I think Aaron Gordon is at the point in his career where he knows his role, and like when they need him, I feel like he's gonna show up. I think he's still just kind of working his way back from that injury. You know, he do like you said have those moments where it's like he not doing nothing, and then he had those moments where he hooping. So I definitely think he kind of just trying to gracefully just work his way back, and then when the playoffs roll around, he gonna put his foot on the gas. But I've been like kind of watching them, and I don't know if I should be worried or not because like they do have Jokic and Jamal, but Jamal been pretty. I ain't gonna say he been bad, but like he ain't been like the Jamal we've been seeing all season, at least in this last like month or so. So it's like hopefully he don't get into that mode where he not really playing too good. Like don't tell me you gave us your best basketball at the beginning of the season, and like
yeah,
now we getting to the end, you kind of like run out of gas. So hopefully that's not the case. But it's definitely been good seeing Cam Johnson pick up. Um, I know Christian Braun still been working his way back into the offense and just trying to get his footing. So I ain't too worried, but I am a little worried though, cause like out west is just tough, man, cause it's like so much competition. You don't want to go into the playoffs and like y'all not everybody not on the same page really with everything. So
Mm-hmm.
that's really my only concerns with them right now.
Going
Yeah,
into it, I was my bad. Jay. I was just gonna say going into it, I had the Nuggets as the biggest threat until we found out the Spurs was the team that they are now. But, what you was
Yeah.
gonna say, Jay?
I was about to say that, Reese. I'm like, I can't say I'm too concerned because the Spurs and the Thunder are the only two teams out west that are actually. I mean, you got the Lakers too, but like they're the only two teams out west that's really consistent. Everybody else is still trying to battle for that to separate themselves from the pack. So I feel like the Nuggets, regardless of how well or poorly they've done in the previous years in the playoffs, like they've earned that respect to just say, okay, this is just a slump. They also missing Peyton Watson, who's been huge for them this season. He's been out for over a month now, so I think it's nothing to be too concerned about. They still have time. They still have games to get under speed, or get up to speed. A few more at least. Um, you got the best player in the world in my eyes. So yeah, no need to worry.
Luckily, your eyes don't matter in the league, nigga, because it's definitely Shea the best player in the league. But getting into
They was the
the,
best team without him. Just saying.
hey man, like I said, Shea the best player in the league, man. But getting into the most important news, as far as for the NBA as a brand as a whole, the NBA has been in huge discussions recently about actually investing in this NBA expansion. We've been hearing like others of rumors was like coming up soon for years now. But recently they have been picking up speed, and it's said to be believed that either Las Vegas or Seattle are the two suitors for the last, like, the last spot. What do y'all think about NBA expansion? Because when this happens, that means like everybody has to make a player available. There would be a draft. There would be a new team. We're gonna have to have some conference shifting. We got a lot of stuff that's gonna happen if we get this 30. What is it? It's 33 teams. If they add them, it'll be 33 teams. So it'll be an uneven amount of teams in the league and all. Like, so I just want to know, what do y'all think? What is y'all thoughts on the NBA expanding?
I'm not mad at it. I feel like you might as well add it. Las Vegas, we already got Las Vegas women team.
Hmm.
We got like everything in Las Vegas. Las Vegas, and this the NBA. That's a money state, you know. So, I mean, so I feel like it's only right to do it. Honestly, then you got Seattle. Couple of you feel me. I feel like it's only right, and I'd love to see a new draft. Honestly, like with everybody included, not just rookies and yeah. So, but that probably just me, but I love to see it. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, no, I'm not a fan of it. We already got enough ass teams in the league. You know what I'm saying? Y'all trying to put some more ass out there. We already been having, the past couple years has already been questions about ratings and do we got to face of the league and this and that. Like, do people really like watching the NBA? All these talks has been going around. Y'all want to add another team or two or whatever they want to do. It like expand the league. Well, that team most likely gonna be weak. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's a good chance that team can be ass. So it's like y'all pretty much just add another team that probably is not gonna be that good. So I don't know. I'm not really a big fan of it. Like I said, we already got bottom feeder teams, and that could potentially just bring another one in. So
Yeah, that
Yes,
definitely
I,
will.
I agree. I'm about to say like we saw with Charlotte's and the Raptors, like we see how long it took their ass to even get a footing. You feel me? So adding more teams and changing up certain aspects of the league that we all just kind of have engraved in us, and just flipping a coin a little bit kind of will shake things up that I don't see moving in the right direction. I think it'll just cause more problems and more conversations about is the NBA moving in the right direction or not. Um, I haven't been too locked in on the expansion, but at the same time, I don't feel like we need one. You feel me? I feel like this is a money grab in a way, but that's just me.
Yeah. I think it'd be cool, of course, to see an expansion happen, but in terms of just being good for the NBA, we still haven't solved the tanking issues with the bottom feeders now. Um, there's a lot of issues in the NBA right now that we need to address before we think about just adding two more teams to sit at the bottom of the barrel. We've had the Kings, who've had that 1 year, but outside of that 1 year have just been terrible. The Wizards just terrible. Like Jazz recently, like there's too many teams that no one wants to watch for us to add more teams that no one's gonna want to watch. So
Nah, yeah, I'm on the whole opposite end of this stuff as y'all. At least y'all three. I'm with
So you
Mike,
with
man.
me?
Yeah, I'm with Mike, man.
Uh,
Yeah, like I think it's cool to add another team, switch something up. Yeah, it's gonna be adding another ass team, but at the same time, with the NBA still trying to implement those tanking rules, I feel like some of those teams that are quote unquote ass, but they really just forcing losses for real. They're forcing like for instance, like the Jazz, they're not ass. They just forcing losses. They actually have a good roster. But if they implement those rules to prevent tanking, and then they add Vegas, yeah, it's gonna be a rough couple years, like how we seen with the Vancouver Grizzlies. We seen like you said the Raptors and the Hornets. Like those teams have a rough couple years, but there's so much basketball talent in the world right now that it's not enough teams. We seen people in the G League average 40. That person might deserve a spot on the roster here and there. And is it gonna not look the best? Maybe not, but expanding is not bad to me, especially the two cities that they named. Vegas, from the business perspective, business side of things, the sports world is just so heavy into sports betting in general, and having a team in Vegas would just be a boom in business in general. So I feel like with them picking a team like potentially Vegas, if they pick a city like Vegas, on some controversial, on some like conspiracies there, I feel like they'll force push their progression faster to try to make that team be a team that's watchable. They're not going to allow Vegas to be ass. Seattle, on the other hand, that's a basketball state. As an OKC fan, that used to be the Seattle Supersonics. They deserve a team. They was like they literally have just as good of a fan base as Oklahoma City does, and nobody, no matter how ass they is, that fan base will be really loyal to that team, and that'll low key be a staple in the West. And I wouldn't be mad if they do add that team because it does shift teams over and it'll shake things up. If we do see a team like in the news, they said that the Minnesota Timberwolves or the Grizzlies might go east. That'll be a shake up because teams like the Grizzlies and the Timberwolves, yeah, they're in the battle with the West, but we could potentially see Ant actually make the finals if he was in the East. Him being over there in the West against all those other teams, or like player like Ja, like we can see them making more noise in another conference and whatnot. So that's just like a shakeup of the league that I'm not mad at. I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm not that mad at it. It's a good business move if they go to Vegas, and it's just good for basketball, good for the culture of basketball if they go to Seattle. So, this is not set in stone, but if it does happen, it's gonna be weird seeing the draft, like because in our era, as long as we've been alive, we never seen an expansion team draft. It's gonna be weird seeing that. It's just some exciting news though that the league at least trying to do something to try to shake things up. Um, but yeah, that's all I got for the expansion teams.
Yeah, no, Reese, I think I do like adjusting the conferences for sure. Like, I think the Grizzlies belong. I think the Grizzlies and the Pelicans actually belong out east. So I like
Mhm.
it in that sense. It's just, and I do think those markets could be successful, but I don't think this helps the markets that already struggle, like Milwaukee. Outside of getting Giannis, that's a market that's going to struggle heavily. The Wizards, I think it makes it even more grim for those. And now we can like address relocation possibly, of course, but like those, it's going to get real bad for those teams because that's even less talent that's going to be wanted to be, showcased there versus okay, if I can go to Seattle, definitely, yeah. If I can go to Vegas for sure, but I'm not going to DC no more. I'm not going to Milwaukee. I'm not going to Utah. Like those markets gonna suffer a lot because there still isn't enough talent to really fill the league. Like those G League guys just don't get it done once they get in the league. Not to a level that's gonna carry a franchise.
But contrary to your just to play devil's advocate, like yeah, those small market teams might take a hit, but is that on them being specifically in a small market or them not being as good of like I guess like GMs or just basketball minds to be able to create a culture to make people want to go there? Because like for instance, OKC, people don't want to go to Oklahoma City. That's a no disrespect. That's not a good city. Oklahoma City is not a good city. It's actually a really bad city to be, to live in general. But at the same time, they built it from the ground up. Same thing with the Pacers. I'm not saying Indianapolis is a bad city, but for as a basketball player that's making millions, that's not a city that you want to dwell in for your prime years in your 20s. Don't nobody want to live in Indianapolis as a millionaire for real. But they still built a team from the ground up. They built a culture that built a team that is stapled in the basketball world. If you have a team in Seattle, yeah, it might seem just a little more favorable to live in Seattle versus the Wizards, but the Wizards are building a culture right now that people might want to go to the Wizards if they actually, handle business correctly going into the next season. So these teams have to just also take accountability and building a situation that make people want to go there. It's not always about them being in the small market. It's also about the front office just making mistakes and just doing things that just make them look less likely to be a team that's favorable in a certain situations. Like I don't want to go to a team that doesn't have a management that doesn't know what they're doing. I'm not gonna go to Charlotte when it look like we don't know what the fuck they doing over there. But now it's starting to look like Charlotte is a favorable spot just because they starting to build a core that looks fun to play with. Somebody probably looking over there like, damn, that team low-key look fun to play with, you know? But Charlotte at the end of the day is a good city. That's not a small market city. Charlotte is a booming city in America, but don't nobody want to go there because they front office is trash. They don't really, you know what I mean? So that does
Yeah,
make sense though. You
that's a good
definitely
point. No,
open my eyes.
It
that's
is.
a
That
good
is a
point.
good
That
point.
start with ownership too. That start
Mm-hmm.
with ownership, like not caring or not pouring enough into their team. So
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Anybody got anything else to add to the NBA expense before we go into our last favorite segment?
Nah, I ain't got nothing.
All right, man. Last but very not least, man. We got our label players of the week. Label players of the week. This is where we go ahead and get our shine off our label players of the week. I'm gonna go ahead and go first as usual because I ain't winning shit right now. I got LaMelo Ball, man. LaMelo Ball, boy. LaMelo Ball been hooping. This is my second time nominating him, or maybe third time, but I'm just so happy he just healthy, bro. Like I feel like he could have been doing this even with or without the help that he has had. He's always been a guard that's been just amazing to watch and fun to watch. And he had a great game against, I know, a terrible team, but yeah, he had a great game against the Sacramento Kings. And the Charlotte Hornets has been looking bright. He's averaging 22.6 points per game, 6 assists, 5 boards. His efficiency is up and down, but he's right in that middle pack at 46%, which is great for him because he's usually in the subpar like 30s. But it's looking bright for them and going into the playoffs. So we can go ahead and get into it next with Dezo, man. Dezo, DB the label. Who you got for your label player of the week?
My label player of the week is Evan Mobley. He's had some pretty impressive outings as of recent. Cleveland's still trying to kind of find a footing, with the new additions and everything like that. But overall, he's been good. Um, I feel like a lot of it is really because Jared Allen is out. But hopefully, when Jared Allen gets back, he kind of can continue the same production. So shout out to him.
Yeah, his offensive output has been looking crazy. He had 2 games, but he had above 25, and we don't normally see that out of my boy. But shout out Evan. Boogie Productions, man. Mike, you been on the road, bro. Who you got for your last five? Well, I mean, not last five. Yo, starting five label player. My bad.
I got Victor, man. Victor Wimby, I believe he got like averaging like around the last 5 games, 3.5 blocks. Only had one in like I can't remember which game, but he had four, and mainly really averaging four like these last 5 games, and 29 points. Couple of 30, he had like 32 balls to 11 rebounds. Victor been hooping, shooting 69%. Yeah, Victor been hooping. Like I said, he just a bonus, man. Anytime he on the court, he'll do all the extra stuff that matters. That you can't stop at 7-6, basically. Like you can't. Ain't really nothing you can do.
Yeah, man. That boy Wimby, man, we've been talking about him all season. DPOY
Yeah,
candidate, potential MVP candidate, 28 points per game, 10 rebounds, 3 assists in his last five. Like you said, around 3.5 blocks per game. Just been dominant, man. Shooting almost 70%. But
yeah.
we got Vono, man, free Von Eat. Who you got for your label player of the week?
This week, label's looking a little grim, but we got Zion Williamson, Freaky Z, man. 21-5-2. You feel me? One of the one of the worst teams in the league, but I do like that they still competing. You feel me? Like, they're not beating these teams. They taking the Suns into a 2-point game. They battling with the Rockets. They end up beating the Raptors, but it was pretty grim. Zion numbers ain't great, so when the label ain't great, I'm gonna give my weaker guys a little shine a little bit. So I got Zion.
That boy Zion probably loving it that DeJounte back though. DeJounte been hooping. Just a shout out to Pelicans. I know that's a guard me and you both mess with as well. So shout out Zion, Freaky Z. Things looking grim this season, but it might look bright next season. That's what I'm hoping for them. Last but very not least, we got J Sports, man. J Sports, who you got for your label player of the week?
label player of the week, as always, Jalen Johnson. He's been it like 80% of the time. Uh, my guy stays hooping. Like the ups and downs the Hawks have had this season, he's had a small rough stretch, a very small rough stretch, but outside of that, he's been excellent. Like you called him earlier, like Jokic-esque. Like he really been doing that type of stuff. And I'm proud of him. he's been one of the few players on my label that's been, consistent. So shout out to my dog. Yeah.
Yeah, man. Jalen Johnson and his 26 points, 10 rebounds, and 9.8 assists landed him the label player of the week. This is Jay's first starting five label player of the week. But hey, man, it's better late
On
than
the
never.
board.
You know what I mean? Better late than
I'm
never.
on
We
the
Finally
got
on
about
the
board.
like 2
board.
weeks left. You might be able to
And
pull out the last 2 weeks. You never know.
and you know what, regardless, Reese, I know what I need to do to revamp in the off season. So like
We do too.
I
We
got on
do
the
too.
board. That's huge for the label. I got on the board. So I'm
Yeah.
ready.
Yeah. But yeah, I'm proud of Jalen Johnson, man. Shout out him representing the J Sports right. But that about wraps up our episode, man. Pick and roll, starting five podcast. Y'all already know, same gang every week. We've been posting consistently. We've been on Instagram. We've been on TikTok. We also on the YouTube Shorts. If you like short form content, we've been going crazy over there. Just follow the links down below, and we out of here, y'all. See y'all next week.